Welcome to SAT TV's news. I'm Shanna Esprey, your presenter. In our top stories, nomination for presidency officially opened at Parliament. Barbados records 5 suspected suicide in 5 weeks. Syria crisis, Russia chemicals plans doable, says US. And in sports, 2 games end with draws in DFA's Division 1 League. Details of this will follow.
I know that things are tough, but we will make it out. Dominica, we all gonna make it one day. The pressures of the system make us lose around. Oh yeah, we all gonna make it one day. Yeah, listen now, there's something that I wanna say to you. You get me so angry. Yeah man, this is Emma Moses, you know, and you're watching SAT News, the People's Choice, yeah? Make it bless, make it bless, make it bless. Love.
Welcome back. Today, Thursday, September 12, marks the 15th anniversary of the Cuban 5 incarceration. The Cuban-born men based in Miami were arrested in 1998, subsequent to being charged and convicted of intent to commit espionage in most countries. This is considered a criminal act. In April 1961, a terrorist group consisting of American armed force launched an invasion attempt against the Republic of Cuba in what is now infamously known as the Bay of Pigs invasion. Since then, the attacks have continued with the bombing of the Cuba Flight 355 off the coast of Barbados on October 6, 1976. Cuban Ambassador Ms. Juana Elena Ramos Rodriguez feels this is unjust trial and the Cuban 5 are terrorist fighters.
They traveled to the United States and infiltrated in terrorist organizations to prevent actions from Florida-based terrorist groups which act with impunity against Cuba. They were not collected information on U.S. national security matters. However, they were detained, unjustly tried, and sentenced to excessive penalties, including various life sentences, without proving their access to classified information of U.S. government.
The Cuban ambassador says they are taught to love and protect their people and the country at all costs. According to her, the Cuban 5 were doing the same. The ambassador, along with the Dominica-Cuba Friendship Association, believes it is fitting that they gracefully avail themselves, especially as they believe that untold injustice was committed against the 5 and Cuba Bay extension.
The UN Human Rights Council Working Group on Arbitrary Detention considers also that there was a climate of bias and prejudice which contributed to the 5 being presented as guilty from the outset, given the absence of objectivity and impartiality. At present, we are in the last phase of what US calls extraordinary appeal.
Ms. Rodriguez said that the judge was not issued any verdict. However, she believes that the decision is not expected to be favorable,
which would exhaust the legal route of the 5 case and would leave them out of options. Therefore, it is necessary to request respectfully to President Obama that he make use of his constitutional powers and free our conscience. He is not responsible for this injustice, but he can put an end to it.
The Cuban 5 have been suffering separation from their families and countries for 15 years. Of the detainees, Geraldo, who was sentenced to 2 life sentences plus 15 years, suffered the loss of his mother and a sister and was unable to visit his wife. The Dominica-Cuba Friendship Association supports the plea of Cuban people and the government for release of the Cuban 5. In more news, In an effort to sensitize Dominicans on the importance of the mountain chicken, the Forestry and Wildlife Division celebrated the first annual Mountain Chicken Day on Thursday, September 12th. Mr. Sultan, amphibian technician in the Forestry Division, explained this day was celebrated with a number of different activities, including acting as field scientist, coloring frogs, and passing on knowledge to mountain chicken to various students who visited the Forestry Information Center at the Botanical Gardens.
Right, we have schools in Tong, which is Roseau. Like we have the St. Martin High School, we have the Berrien School, we have grammar school, so mostly schools close in Tong proximity, and as well few schools where mountain chicken is at, like Soufouye and as well Corlier. So those schools should be coming with at least groups of 20 to 25 students.
The students showed a lot of interest in the information that was disseminated and carried out tasks the amphibian technicians conduct on a daily basis, like weighing the frogs, measuring and cleaning them. They also displayed a keen interest in learning new facts about frogs and the mountain chicken specifically.
And this is the way about, because we need to change the mindset of just the frog is a food way. It used to be the national dish, but as well persons can see the frog as an animal that is very important to the society, whereas we all know the frog has very important traditional role in Dominica, where it used to be on the it's on the coat of arms, it's on the National Bank logo, it's as well on the Dominica State College logo, as well plays a lot in folk songs. So that's just the iconic and the traditional role of the frog in the, I would say, society or the Dominica in all.
Mr. Sultan stated the aim of this day was to ensure all who visit the facility would live with a more positive attitude towards the mountain chicken. They must see it not just as a frog, but learn the cultural importance of it to Dominica and its ecosystem, as it is one of the verge of extinction.
The Mountain Chicken Day is an actual international event where we have Montreal and Body Force, and as well few zoos in the United States like ZSL, which is a partner with us, Chester Zoo and so on. So they'll be hosting different events, press conference and game, just like we're doing here in Dominica to celebrate the Mountain Chicken Day.
What will be taking place tomorrow?
Tomorrow we have an open day for the public, whereas persons can come to the Botanical Gardens and get information about the frogs, have games like bag race, face painting, as well have a talk about the mountain chicken and what actually we have been doing, the works has been doing. And as well we can give persons a walk to the facility in the Botanical Gardens where we have the frogs in captive and give them a briefing of what exactly we do and the work that's been done about the frog.
A special thank you goes out to the persons who have been working along with the Forestry Division in the conservation of the mountain chicken and those who have donated to the project. For more information on the project, visit facebook.com and search for the Dominica Mountain Chicken Project. In other news, on Thursday, 12 September, Speaker of the House of Assembly, Mrs. Alex Boyd-Knights, announced the 14-day nomination process to begin from tomorrow, September 13th. Presently, the opposition and the government of Dominica have yet to come to an agreement on a joint nominee for the President of Dominica. Following Mrs. Boyd-Knight's withdrawal for fear of her family's life, the government has taken the decision to nominate former Permanent Secretary Jennifer Wallace-Laffour.
Since you have chosen another nominee, I expected you to engage me in the required consultation regarding the possibility of our joint nomination of your newly chosen nominee, Mrs. Jennifer Wallace-Laffour. We are minded to support your nominee for president, provided that she meets the qualifying criteria outlined in the Constitution.
The Constitution states that if the Prime Minister and the opposition leader are unable to come to an agreement on a joint candidate, they are obligated to inform the Speaker in writing. The Speaker's duty would then be to inform the House that they are unable to agree on a candidate.
In accordance with Section 19.3 of the Commonwealth of Dominica Constitution on Order 1978, and further to the withdrawal of interest of the first nominee, I hereby inform you that the Leader of the Opposition and I have been unable to agree on a joint nominee of a candidate for election as President.
The Constitution also states that the Prime Minister or the Leader of Opposition or any three members of the House may during this 14-day period send in a nominee.
I now have to inform the House that the time is on for members to send in the next 14 days the nominations. Now, the leader of the opposition can send in a nominee, the Prime Minister can send in a nominee, and any 3 members of the House may, during this 14-day period, send in a nominee. And so, this is where I have to tell the House, nominations can be coming forth on the basis of there not being a joint nominee and the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition not agreeing on a nominee.
I propose that we meet sometime later September, after the 14-day period has expired, and there shall be an election, or as the Constitution provides, if at that stage they agree on a nominee, we'll take it from there, Mrs. Boyd-Knight said. Parliament was adjourned without a date. In more stories, opposition leader Hector John said the United Workers' Party, and by extension Dominica, is elated that Mrs. Alex Boyd-Knight has declined as nominee for the next president of Dominica. However, the United Workers' Party has indicated that they will support the government's decision to nominate former Permanent Secretary and Principal Jennifer Wallace-Laffour, provided she meets the requirements.
We wrote to the Prime Minister yesterday indicating that we will support his nominee since he's providing that he meets the qualifying criteria as outlined in the Constitution. And also we are requesting that he furnish us with a copy of a resume and organize a meeting with between the nominee and the leader of the opposition, and we can facilitate the completion of the consultation process.
Mr. John also refuted comments by Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit, who said on DBS Radio Morning News that over the past 14 years, the United Workers' Party have not supported government's nominee for president.
The furthest from the truth. On both occasions, the United Workers' Party and the government had Mr. Nicholas Liverpool, the former president, as the joint nominee. So it was an attempt a deliberate attempt to discredit the opposition and by the Prime Minister. It was shameful. I think we have been giving support where support is due. And if it's not, we will stand on the side of the Constitution and move forward.
The UWP has requested a meeting with the leaders of the opposition and Mrs. Laffour, as well as a copy of her resume. This is important in facilitating the process of moving forward, which is important as enshrined in the Constitution. Section 19 of the Constitution states that whenever the office of President is vacant or the term of office of the President is due to expire within no more than 90 days, the Prime Minister shall consult with the Leader of Opposition as to the joint nomination of a suitable candidate for election as President. In other stories, on Sunday, September 15th, the Dominica Labour Party, including DLP delegates from all constituencies throughout Dominica, will host a press conference and award ceremony in Point Michelle. 3 political leaders from overseas will speak at the conference, including Mr. Gaston Brown, Antigua's political Labour Party leader. Deputy Political Leader Ambrose George, Minister for Housing, Reginald Austri, and the Prime Minister of Dominica, Roosevelt Skerrit, are expected to make addresses at the press conference. Over 25 Labourites are to be recognized for their ongoing and firm support for the party. The Midnight Groovers Band, as well as a number of performances by well-known Calypsonians, will be there to entertain the highlight of the event. The 2013 Dominica Labour Party Delegates Conference commences from 11 a.m. In more news, leader of the United Workers' Party, Mr. Lennox Linton, is advising all supporters that the presidential nominee protest scheduled for Friday, September 13th outside of the House of Assembly will take place in the form of a meeting in Lago at 7 p.m.
Our meeting to really place in perspective this development of the week where the government nominee was withdrawn. It's a very happy time for Dominica. Something that we can mark as a victory of together we will. When the people of Dominica united in a single voice, across communities, across churches, across civil society organizations, that this was not the correct choice for Dominica. It was scandalous. It should not be allowed to stand. The government was faced with no choice but to listen and to do what it had to do to come up with a new nominee.
Mr. Linton said he is happy the government was forced to come up with a new nominee, but there are issues that still need to be discussed.
Because Mr. Skerritt is still telling us, notwithstanding the widespread outrage over his selection of Alex Boyd Knight, having withdrawn her or arranged for her to withdraw, he's still trying to insult our intelligence and our sense of patriotic duty and commitment to tell us that she is the best choice. She was really the best choice, and he was sticking with her, but she decided that for the safety of her family, etc. Absolute nonsense. She decided to step down. You know, for all of the years, the 14 years that Alex Boyd Knight has harassed members of the opposition in Parliament, has antagonized them, has done her level best to keep them under heavy manners. She has never had any concern about the safety of her family. For all the years that she was better read than dead and kicked those damn blues out and all of her vulgarities and so on, she was never concerned about the safety of family. All of a sudden now we hear this nonsensical excuse, which is what it is. It's the nonsensical excuse because Mr. Skerritt, under pressure from his cabinet, was forced to pull out his nominee.
This process of electing a presidential nominee, he added, needs to be carried out properly in a manner that is constitutional and where the person has to meet the criteria for election to the presidency. And in entertainment, fans of the pioneers of Bouyon music, the WCK Band, can now breathe a sigh of relief as the band will now be performing at the 17th Annual World Creole Music Festival carried for October 25th to the 27th. This was made public on Wednesday, September 11th at a press conference organized by the Dominica Festivals Committee.
Saturday, October 26th, Busy Signal, Bracket, the Cadas All-Stars, in the names of Halibut, Elijah Benoit, Chubby and Co. The Zouk All-Stars, in the names of Patrice Solman, Orlan, Jean-Marc Ferdinand, Alex Alexi, Old Benz, and the WCK. And the All-Stars also featuring Fitzroy Williams. So the new name, WCK, and they will be performing on the Saturday night.
The fans of the WCK Band were disappointed and vocally expressed their concerns on social media when the band was not mentioned during the official media launch of the festival on Monday, July 29th. In a previous exclusive interview with SAT Telecoms, manager of the WCK Band, Mr. Keith Goddard, stated it would be very disappointing for the fans and for the band to not be given the opportunity to perform at this year's festival. He made this statement following the media launch of the World Creole Music Festival 2013 when the band was not included in the lineup nor contacted, even a month after the launch. Mr. Goddard said the band's inclusion into the festival is a fortunate turnaround for both the fans of the band and the patrons who will attend the festival. Although it is somewhat late, the band will be ready and preparations are on the way for high-energy performances, Mr. Goddard added. A call has been sounded to all fans of the band to ensure they turn up in large numbers to show their support. The WCK Band will perform on Sunday morning from 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m., closing Saturday night's event. Asa Banton was also added to the WCMF and will perform on Friday, October 25th, along with Triple K, Nai, New Look, and others. Another new addition, Cross Vibes, will perform on Sunday, October 27th, along with Karimi, Swinging Stars, and Calypsonians, including King Dice, Hunter, Tasha P, and DeBob. This has been the local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.
Have you ever wanted to order on the internet but don't own a credit card, or you're just fed up of the high prices of items locally? Well, the solution is Chemex Online Services. Chemex Online Services. Order a wide variety of items and get your items in as quick as 5 to 10 days. For placing orders or for more information, call 614-9550. The sky's the limit with Chemex Online Services.